Hi there, Tim from K-On here. Today we're looking at LandCruiser 300 series recovery points. For the LandCruiser 300, there's actually two types of recovery points, and that depends on whether you have standard suspension or KDSS suspension. We'll cover both operations or both installations in this video. If you want to understand how we go about developing these recovery points or the features of these points, check out our other video. The first thing we want to do to install these recovery points is to gain access to this area. Now, if you've got a bull bar or aftermarket UVP, make sure there's nothing in the way. This vehicle's got a factory bumper. We need to remove the factory tie-down points and these plastic trims on the front. And there's also a little plastic trim on the side here. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to remove this tie-down point first. This trim's held in by a bunch of clips and bolts. Most of them are 10 mil. And we'll want to retain this trim because we can reinstall it. This one as well. This one on the side. There's another little 12 mil one here, and that's done. This little one on the side here, it's held in by this clip here, and it's also clipped in underneath here. Just going to get a little pry tool and pull this plastic clip out. There you go. It's popped out. This one up here is just clipped in. So you just want to pull down on it and push on the back side, and it should come down like that. Okay. On the 300 series here, we've got 5 really good mounting points, 2 on the front and these 2 here. So we need to remove these bolts that hold that sway bar mount in. So we'll get those ones out. Just want to make sure this mounting surface here is clean, and we're ready to install the recovery point. Grab your recovery point, they're handed, so make sure you get the run on for the correct side. We've got a long bolt on the back here, and because it mounts on top of this sway bar mount, just make sure the bolts line up through the thread. You might need to pry and adjust the position of that mount. And that one started, which is good because this is actually movable, but I'll show you how to do that to align everything up again. And we want to get all these bolts started so that we're not cross-threading anything, and making sure that the threads are engaged properly. Because this mount drops down a little bit, I'm just going to nip this up a little bit. And that'll actually help everything line up better. There you go. See, that's all started up nicely because the mount just kicked a bit. So I just got it closer to home and everything goes up. So just tighten everything up. All the bolts have been tightened up and nipped up. Now, the important part is to go around and torque everything up to the recommended torque settings. And then this back one. Next time I won't have the car so high. Oh, my arms. Okay, all torqued up. This is the factory trim that was going around the original tie-down point. We'll need to trim this a little to clear our recovery points. Now, the way to do it is, see these little ridges here? We actually want to cut to the inside of that, so the side where the opening is. So it's going to come along like this, skirt that hole, and down. And if there's a little corner in here, down the bottom in here, if you just run that line straight to the corner, right to the corner in here, I can't quite get my pen in there because it's too fat, but you got the idea. And then we run this cut along here and cut across here. So that's this cut on this side. Now on the other side, you can see this straight line here. I want to continue that down, but then I want to actually cut inside this corner here and then back across like this. Okay, so So we'll go ahead and trim that out. We'll use a combination of scissors and a sharp Stanley knife or a utility knife, and we'll get that all trimmed out. It's fairly soft. And if you're worried, you could always sort of start away from the line and trim up to the line, but we're going to go for it. To the corner. Now with this one, what I find is if I nip these at these little corners here and up the top here, it means that when I score it with the knife, I can bend it away like that. Oh, that worked really well. Some nice light scores. Oh, that worked good too. Look at that. And again, score that and just bend it. That makes it nice and tidy. Beautiful. Look at that. To nip these corners here so they don't catch on you, or just makes it look a bit tidier. And I'll do this one here as well. There's this piece. So obviously we're going to have to trim that one as well, right there. And this was actually held in with a piece of metal backing plate, so we'll have to trim that as well. So I'll just mark all this. Now, if you don't want to trim this metal plate, we do provide some extra nuts and bolts. Use this as a ruler. So I'm just going to cut it straight down. And there you go. Plastic needs to be cut there, and the metal needs to be cut there. So apparently these flappy things are just to help save a bit of fuel, I believe. So I'd imagine once you're bolting a bull bar and roof racks and so forth onto it, it probably negates that. Okay, that one's done. I'll go ahead and cut this and I'll be back. We have everything trimmed. You can sort of see relative to the vehicle, it's all trimmed. Now what I like to do is install this little front air dam back in place, because you've got much more access to tighten it all up. Now one option, if you don't want to trim this metal piece out the back, is to use the supplied M6 bolts, nuts and washers, and you can just attach that with these bolts and nuts. So I'll just show you what this looks like if you don't have the means to cut this, and that will hold that little air dam in place. So I'll go ahead and install the factory one that I've trimmed. And also another little note, after I've trimmed it, I've put a little bit of zinc primer on the end to stop it from rusting. Now, because I've got the factory ones, I can reuse the factory screws. So these are let's get one that looks the same. There you go. Oh, so that's what it looks like. And then we place the trim back up there. There's a little one here that you just push right up. And that'll hold it in place. Screw everything back. Up the top here. This one on the side here. And there's one on the back here. Oops. And that's it. There you go, clears the recovery point there. Looks fairly factory actually. So that side's finished. Need to go do it on the other side as well. Last thing we want to do is to put these warning labels in there for the load rating. On the 300 here with the factory bumper, it's got a nice little spot right there. So just clean that off so that everything sticks nicely. And we'll get this one on. One side. We're done. So the process to install the KDSS version of the recovery points is a little bit different, so we'll show you that now. The first thing we want to do is remove any factory tie down points and any trims that are in this area. So we'll go ahead and do that, and make sure you do that on both sides. Just use a little screwdriver, pry this one out, drop that out of the way. Make sure all your surfaces are clean as well. We also have to remove these two lower bolts here. That's the main difference with the KDSS. They're attached to these two bolts, so we'll pull these out. We're now ready to install the recovery point. Pretty straightforward. We've got 3 M12 bolts in the front and 2 long ones on the side. So we'll just get these all started. And then we pretty much just nip them all up before we torque them all down. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. Now I've gone around and I've just tightened them all up, nipped them all up so everything's sitting nice and snug. And then we'll go grab the torque wrench and torque them up to the recommended settings. Okay, torquing up the bolts. I always go extra one just to be sure, don't you? Okay, they're all done. Last thing to do is we've got a warning and load rating label. So we want to put that somewhere that's easily visible. So on this vehicle here, we'll put it on the side of this splash guard. And I'll go ahead and do that on the other side as well. So there you have it. That's how you install the recovery points on the LandCruiser 300. For more information, visit our website, kaon.com.au.